Picture this, a beautiful summer afternoon in an upscale neighborhood in Atlanta. Michael Carter, a former police officer with 15 years of service, is finally living his dream after years of saving every penny and working overtime shifts. He managed to buy his dream house, a stunning 2-story home with a crystal-clear swimming pool that sparkles under the Georgia sun. But his moment of peace is about to be shattered as Michael reclines in his lounge chair, eyes closed and enjoying the warm breeze. Police sirens pierce the Tranquility 2 patrol cars, screech to a halt in front of his house. The officers, hands on their holsters, approach his fence. "Sir, we've received a report of a suspicious individual trespassing in this pool area." Michael sits up, a familiar knot forming in his stomach. He knows exactly who made that call through the corner of his eye. He catches a glimpse of his neighbor, Karen Thompson, peeking through her curtains with a smug smile on her face. This isn't the first time she's pulled something like this, and little does she know it's about to be her last. Let me take you back to where it all began. 2 months earlier. 2 months earlier, Michael was proudly moving into his new home after a decade and a half of protecting and serving. He'd finally achieved what his parents could only dream of, owning a house in one of Atlanta's most prestigious neighborhoods. The previous owners had maintained the property beautifully, especially the backyard pool that had caught Michael's eye from day one. He was arranging his patio furniture when he first noticed her. Karen Thompson, standing in her second-floor window phone, pressed against her ear, staring intently at him. Michael waved politely, but she quickly disappeared behind her curtains the next day while Michael was at the hardware store. His security camera pinged there. She was walking through his unlocked back gate like she owned the place, wearing a designer swimsuit and carrying a luxury beach towel. She casually laid her things on his pool chair and dipped her feet in his pool when Michael returned and confronted her. Karen's reaction was unforgettable. "Oh," she said, feigging surprise with a hand to her chest. "I thought you were the new pool maintenance man. The previous owners always let me use their pool." Her condescending smile made his blood boil, but years of police training had taught him to stay calm. "Ma'am, I'm not the maintenance man. I'm the new owner," Michael replied professionally. "And I'd appreciate it if you'd ask permission before entering my property." Karen's face twisted into an expression of disbelief. "You the owner?" She laughed nervously. "There must be some mistake. I know the realtor handling this property, and she never mentioned well." She gestured vaguely at him, leaving the racist implication hanging in the air. "There's no mistake, Mrs. Thompson. This is my home and you're trespassing. Please leave." Michael's voice remained steady, but inside, he was counting to 10 as Karen gathered her things. She muttered under her breath, "We'll see about that." It wasn't a threat. It was a promise over the next few weeks. Karen's behavior went from annoying to outrageous one. Saturday morning, Michael woke up to voices and splashing, looking through his window. He couldn't believe his eyes. Karen had brought 4 of her friends for a pool party in his backyard. "LIES. You need to leave immediately," Michael announced, stepping onto his patio. "This is private property." "Oh, don't be difficult." Karen waved dismissively. "We're just having a little fun. Besides, this pool barely gets any use." Her friends looked uncomfortable, shifting in their designer swimsuits. "Karen told us she had permission," one woman whispered quickly, gathering her things. Michael maintained his composure, remembering his de-escalation training. "Mrs. Thompson, this is your final warning the next time you trespass. I'm calling the police." "Go ahead," Karen sneered, being the last to leave. "I know everyone at the precinct. My husband plays golf with Captain Richards that afternoon." Michael installed a security cameras he'd learned from his years on the Force document. Everything within days, the cameras caught Karen testing his gate, peering through his windows, and even attempting to use her own key copy from the previous owners. The final straw came when she hosted her book club. Michael returned from grocery shopping to find 8 women in his backyard, drinking wine and lounging by his pool. This time he did call the police officers. Davis and Martinez arrived, his former colleagues. "Mike, long time." "No, see," Officer Davis started, then noticed the situation. "Oh, it's this kind of call." Karen immediately switched to tears. "Officers, I'm so glad you're here. This man is harassing us. We've always had pool privileges with the previous owners, and he's being completely unreasonable. Ma'am, Officer Martinez interrupted. Mr. Carter was one of our best officers. If he says you're trespassing, you're trespassing. Please leave before we have to make this official. As the women hurried out, Karen's face turned red with humiliation. This isn't over, she hissed. You don't belong here, and I'll make sure everyone knows it. Karen's campaign against Michael took a darker turn. Suddenly mysterious, concerned neighbors were posting on the community Facebook page about suspicious activities at his address. His morning newspaper started disappearing. Anonymous complaints about his unkempt yard flooded. The HOA, despite his lawn being perfectly maintained, but Michael hadn't spent 15 years in law enforcement without learning a thing or two about gathering evidence. His cameras caught Karen stealing his newspaper at 6 a.m., photographing his house at odd hours, and even sprinkling plant killer on his prized roses under cover of darkness during the monthly HOA meeting. Karen played her biggest card, yet I'm concerned about property values. She addressed the room, casting a sharp glance at Michael. Some recent changes in the neighborhood have made my potential buyers uneasy. Michael stood up calmly, phone in hand. Interesting you'd say that, Mrs. Thompson. Care to explain this footage of you vandalizing my garden last Tuesday at 11:47 p.m.? Silence filled the room as Michael played the crystal-clear video. Karen's face turned pale, but she quickly regained composure. I was checking for suspicious activity. Someone's been damaging properties around here. Yes, Michael replied coolly. And now we all know exactly who that someone is. That evening, Michael discovered his pool had been tampered with, filled with dish soap. The bubbly mess would take days to clean. As he watched the foam drift across the water, a plan began to form. If Karen wanted to play games with his pool, maybe it was time to give her exactly what she wanted. With a little twist, he remembered a conversation with his former partner about a non-toxic, temporary dye used in pool maintenance. It only activates when it reacts with certain chemicals, specifically those found in expensive cosmetics and sunscreen. The dye wasn't harmful, but it could stain skin a bright, embarrassing color for several days. For the first time since this ordeal began, Michael smiled. Sometimes, the best way to deal with a bully isn't to fight fire with fire. It's to serve a harmless, unforgettable dose of karma. He researched thoroughly. The dye he ordered was 100% safe and commonly used to detect leaks. Best of all, it reacted only with the kind of high-end products Karen and her friends used. Michael tested it in a small bucket with traces of her favorite sunscreen, left behind on his pool chairs. The result? A vivid green stain that lasted a week. Perfect. Through the neighborhood grapevine, he learned Karen was planning another unauthorized pool gathering that weekend, under the pretense of boosting property values. Code for make the new neighbor uncomfortable. Michael got to work. He installed 3 new hidden cameras positioned to capture every angle. Then he added the dye to the pool in the precise concentration recommended. The water looked completely normal, crystal clear and inviting. That evening, he overheard Karen talking loudly on her phone in the backyard. Yes, he's gone all day Saturdays, she said, clearly aiming her voice toward his house. Trust me, it'll be fine. Bring your best swimsuit. Michael smiled, then packed his car the next morning, making sure Karen saw him leave. Instead of going far, he parked around the block and slipped back into his house through the side gate. From his home office, he had a perfect view of the pool. Right on schedule, his phone buzzed. Karen was testing the gate, but this time, Michael wasn't angry. He simply sat down, opened his security app, and waited. At exactly 2 p.m., Karen made her entrance, strutting through his gate like she owned the place. Behind her came 6 women, all in designer swimsuits with luxury beach bags in tow. They set up their little party with practiced ease. Champagne, snacks, Bluetooth speakers playing smooth jazz. "Ladies, welcome to our Saturday sanctuary," Karen declared, raising her glass. What the new owner doesn't know won't hurt him. The women giggled, still unsure. But the promise of a private pool party on a hot Atlanta afternoon was too tempting. One by one, they lathered on their expensive sunscreen, the exact brands Michael had tested. Karen dove in first with a graceful splash. "The water's perfect," she called out. Her friends followed, and Karma was right behind them. They were swimming, completely unaware that a chemical reaction had begun. It started with Karen's friend, Susan. Karen, is your skin changing?" she asked, staring at her now green-tinted arm. Karen looked down and screamed. Her pale skin had turned a bright, unmistakable green. Panic broke out. The women scrambled out of the pool, shrieking and grabbing their things. Expensive makeup ran in green streaks down their faces. Manicured hands looked like they'd been dipped in dye. "My daughter's wedding is next week," one woman wailed. Karen, dripping and furious, shouted, "This was deliberate." Her eyes locked onto one of Michael's hidden cameras, its red light blinking. What followed looked like a high-fashion sprint team. 6 green-tinted women racing through the neighborhood in designer swimsuits, leaving wet, green footprints behind. Michael's edited video hit social media like wildfire. It began with clips of Karen trespassing, followed by the green pool chaos, all set to smooth jazz. Within hours it had gone viral. News outlets picked it up. The headline, "Trespassing Karen Gets Green with Envy." Her real estate agency was flooded with green emojis and questions from clients. By Monday, they issued a statement distancing themselves from her actions. The neighborhood came alive. People who had stayed quiet spoke up. Mrs. Rodriguez shared how Karen reported her Christmas decorations. The Johnsons recalled Karen trying to remove their kids' basketball hoop. Karen tried damage control with a video explaining her side, but her green-tinged face only made it worse. She looked like a furious, wicked witch of the West. Michael said nothing. He didn't need to. He waved cheerfully whenever a green-stained figure peeked through the curtains. Karen's lawyer sent a cease and desist, but Michael responded with footage, timestamps, and police reports. When her team claimed the dye wasn't targeted, more evidence of her trespassing shut that down. Karen's final attempt at revenge backfired. Badly. Karen tried to hold a neighborhood meeting about dangerous pool chemicals, but only 3 people showed up, all silently wearing green ribbons in support of Michael. The final blow came when her husband was overheard at the golf club. "Do you know how hard it is to close a deal when your wife is literally green? She can't even show houses anymore. People keep asking if she's sick." Michael, calm and composed, told reporters, "Everyone's welcome to use my pool. Just ask permission first." His small smile said the rest. 2 weeks later, a for sale sign appeared in front of Karen's house. Though the green had faded from her skin, her reputation was permanently stained. She began avoiding Michael's place, especially during his now popular weekend pool parties. These events, with invitations and safety rules, became a neighborhood favorite. Kids played, parents laughed, and a real sense of community blossomed. The very thing Karen claimed to protect, but nearly destroyed. "You know," said Tom from 2 doors down, helping Michael set up a BBQ. "I've lived here 20 years, and this is the first time I've really known my neighbors." The Rodriguez kids joked by tiptoeing past Karen's old house in swim gear, whispering, "Don't tell Karen." Their parents couldn't help but laugh. When real estate agents showed her house, they had to explain why she was selling. The story had become legend and legally had to be disclosed. No, the green dye was temporary, they'd assure nervous buyers. Karen made one last appearance at an HOA meeting, intending to speak on neighborhood decline, but someone hummed, "It's not easy being green," from the back. Laughter followed. She fled, red-faced, a color that clashed wonderfully with her fading green hue. On moving day, Michael raised a lemonade, not in celebration of her leaving, but in gratitude. Standing up to a bully had brought the community together. 1 year later, Michael's pool remained the heart of the neighborhood. The new family, an interracial couple with twin daughters, fit in perfectly. Michael helped their girls practice for swim team. Visitors sometimes ask about the framed photo near the gate, people running with green-tinted skin. That, Michael says with a smile, is a reminder that karma knows how to make a splash. The cameras are still there, but now they capture birthdays, laughter, and summer evenings. Recently, Michael got an email. Karen, now in another state, was causing trouble again. Something about someone else's tennis court. He chuckled, marked it as red, and stepped out to enjoy his pool. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's living with dignity and letting karma do the rest.